Jai Sapadikashi Shri Guru Gaur Chandraju, Jai Shri Giraju Ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnupai Paramhansa Pari Prajakacharya, Astatar Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai, Jai Om Vishnupai Paramhansa Pari Prajakacharya, Astatar Shri Shriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dade Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Morning Class. Dandavat. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Chita Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vidangscha Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Haribol. Jai, continuing to read Sri Chaitanya Charitamrta, Adi Lila chapter 4, and we are now on page 280, 284 here. It's the purport of text number 34 at the top of the... We began to read it already yesterday. But I'm reading this because it is really very good basic understanding of things. Srila Prabhupada on such a high platform of devotional life, but he came to our platform to help us to understand many, many things about devotional service. And so these purports are very helpful, especially in the beginning. But I'll just read some of it. Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Ki Jai, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai, Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda.
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda, Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda.
The saying that the human form of life is the best position for devotional service has its special significance, because only in this form can a living entity revive his eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The human form is considered the highest state in the cycle of the species of life in the material world. The human form is considered the highest state in the cycle of the species of life in this material world. Do you hear that?
Yeah, the human form is considered the highest state in the cycle of the species.
It is the best opportunity for spiritual progress, and the greatest latitude of free will is in human life. If one takes advantage of this highest kind of material form, one can regain his position of devotional service to the Lord. Incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead appear in all the species of life, although this is inconceivable to the human brain. The Lord's pastimes are differentiated according to the appreciating capacity of the different types of bodies of the living entities. The Supreme Lord bestows the most merciful benediction upon human society when he appears in his human form. It is then that humanity gets the opportunity to engage in different kinds of eternal service to the Lord. So when the Lord appears in his original form, all the other forms are expansions of the original form, which is human-like. And the greatest benediction to humans in their very special capacity and opportunity for spiritual growth is when he appears in his human form. He's giving the greatest benediction. So going to the bottom, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haibe Akuti Kabehama Bujabase Jugala Piriti. When shall I be eager to understand the literature given by the Goswamis? Then I shall be able to understand the transcendental love affairs of Radha and Krishna. In other words, unless one is trained under the disciplic succession of the Goswamis, one cannot understand Radha and Krishna. The conditioned souls are naturally averse to understanding the spiritual existence of the Lord. And if they try to know the transcendental nature of the Lord's pastimes, while they remain absorbed in materialism, they are sure to blunder like the Sahajis. So, this is a very important point, that by proper training, not simply by human birth, but that birth is the potential for taking shelter of the great devotees and making progress in this way. Otherwise, if one starts reading about Krishna's all this, you'll become a Sahajiya. So we need to be properly trained in understanding all these things. They're very, very fine. And we have to apply ourselves to these things. Any question? Text number 35. Bhave kriya vidilin se ihakaya kartavya avasya e anyata pratyavaya. Here, to use the verb bhavet, which is the imperative mood, tells us that this certainly has to be done. Non-compliance would be the abandonment of duty.
Didi,
Mm-hmm.
what is that we certainly must do?
What is being referred to?
Yeah.
So it's in the previous verse. Krishna manifests his eternal human-like form and performs his pastimes to show mercy to the devotees. Having heard such pastimes, one should engage in service to him, or one must. Again, Srila Prabhupada has translated the word bhavet into should, but later on he's explaining that this is actually imperative. When we say should, it means, well, you really should. But here it means you should do it. You must do it. Otherwise, what's going to happen will be disastrous. So having heard such pastimes, one should engage in service to him. And then Srila Prabhupada is giving us, especially this verse, Rupa Raghunatha Pade Haibe Akuti, that we must take proper training in the line of divine disciplic succession from Mahaprabhu and Srila Rupa Goswami and learn how to do this thing properly, not just to make something up. Here the word, okay, so now we're going to put text number 30. Oh no, this is the purport. This imperative is applicable to pure devotees. Neophytes will be able to understand these affairs only after being elevated by regulated devotional service under the expert guidance of the spiritual master. Then they too will be competent to hear of the love affairs of Radha and Krishna. So, we are taking shelter of all these instructions, but we understand that we have to be patient. We have to try to do our duty, offer it to the Lord, see the results, and continue on in our spiritual life. Under the guidance. These are all the instructions of our gurus. And he's telling us how to live. As long as one is in material conditioned life, strict discipline is required in the matter of moral and immoral activities. The absolute world is transcendental and free from such distinctions, because there inebriety is not possible. Remember that word?
Not being intoxicated.
Yeah, there is no possibility of that in the divine plane. But this material world is a sexual appetite necessitates distinction between moral and immoral conduct. So that those rules don't apply to the transcendental world, because there is no immoral conduct. There's no question of any kind or moral. It's beyond any of those considerations. There are no sexual activities in the spiritual world. The transactions between lover and beloved in the spiritual world are pure transcendental love and unadulterated bliss. One who has not been attracted by the transcendental beauty of the rasa will certainly be dragged down into material attraction. Thus, to act in material contamination and progress to the darkest regions of hellish life. But by understanding the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, one is freed from the grip of attraction to material so-called love between man and woman. Similarly, one who understands the pure parental love of Nanda and Yashoda for Krishna will be saved from being dragged into material parental affection. So, divine Grihastha life, which is centered on the service of Krishna, is gradually purifying everything. So, it will become, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, all like family love will become universal. It will become absolute love without any sense of false notions of who we are. So all these things are processes that we are accepting everything which is favorable for devotional life. Evancha Jaiche Krishna Prakatya Karana Asura Sanghara Anusanga Prayojana Mata Chaitanya Krishna Purna Bhagavan Yuga Dharma Pravartana Nahetan Rakam. Just as these desires are the fundamental reason for Krishna's appearance, whereas destroying the demons is only an incidental necessity. So, for Sri Chaitanya, Krishna Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, promulgating the Dharma of the age is incidental. Are there any questions about this point?
What's incidental?
So, just like Krishna, he's coming to bestow his benediction upon the devotee, showing his pastimes. Krishna, when he comes, as himself, in Vrindavan, but he's killing demons. That's an incidental thing because the time for doing that was also at the same time. So it
That's not
appears
his main.
that's not Krishna doesn't actually have anything to do with that.
Right.
That's all. As we were speaking about last night in the Gita class about the three modes of material nature, Vishnu is in charge of the mode of goodness. That means maintenance, but it also means maintaining. It means maintaining the dharma of the world, maintaining the living entities. And so he expands himself, and he destroys the demons and establishes the principles of religion for maintenance of the material, for maintenance of us. Krishna doesn't do that. Krishna doesn't have any job to do.
Right. No, I love that. Yeah,
Right.
no job.
So when he appears, and it happens to be at the same time when the avatar of the age appears. They seem to overlap.
I see.
And it's the same with Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu came to taste his own purpose. But the avatar of the age, who establishes the Hare Krishna mantra, was also at the same time. So the two seem to overlap. And that Hare Krishna mantra was imbued with the purpose of Mahaprabhu. So in this age, the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra is very different than in other ages. It has become imbued with the purpose of Swayam Bhagavan Mahaprabhu. So those two things are parallel. Very good and wonderful to notice and understand these things. Kona karane jabe haila avatare manna Juga dharma kala haila se kale milana. When the Lord desired to appear for another reason, the time for promulgating the religion of the age also arose. The time when the Yuga avatar, who comes in every Kali Yuga, but as an expansion of Shirdakshay Vishnu, he came. It was a simultaneous thing, so they seemed to merge, you could say. Dui heto avatari lanya bhaktagana apane asfare prema nama sankirtana. Thus, with two intentions, the Lord appeared with his devotees and tasted the nectar of prema with the congregational chanting of the holy name. The congregational chanting of the holy name is the Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga, every Kali Yuga. But now that was mixed with the inner intention of Mahaprabhu. So this is a miracle. Se dvare achandale kirtana sanchare nama prema malaganti paraila sangsare. Thus he spread kirtan even among the untouchables. He wove a wreath of the holy name and prema, with which he garlanded the entire world. Very famous shloka by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj.
Didi,
Mm-hmm.
who are the untouchables?
Us.
Us?
Yeah. We would not be allowed inside the gates of a Vedic city. We'd have to live out in the jungle. We don't. We have no clue about anything. By our birth, we're just like, what do I want to eat something? Better get a job so I can have a lot of good stuff. We're just like really basic. We don't know like in Vedic society, they didn't play certain notes in the wrong time of day. They would really feel that. Oh, this is the wrong time of day for that note to be played in music. But even in the society as it was at the time of Mahaprabhu's appearance, which was only 500 years ago in the Kali Yuga, we're meat eaters. Meat eaters are automatically untouchable by the other castes. They don't want to be around them. Contaminated. No higher goal than just the senses. Almost not human. So he spread the holy name, this congregational chanting of the holy name, even to the untouchables. He doesn't care. Even to plants and animals. The whole universe was affected, actually. The whole universe was deeply affected by the chanting, by Mahaprabhu's congregational chanting. Are there any other... Is that clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
That's clear? So Srila Prabhupada got a lot of flack. Even though it was Srila Saraswati Thakur's expressed desire that he come to the West and preach, in spite of that, he got a lot of flack for making us into Brahmins and able to worship the deity in the temple. It was like, what? Because they didn't have a clear idea. Those who were opposing, his opponents, did not have a clear idea about the mercy of Mahaprabhu. He makes everyone qualified beyond what is normal qualification within Varnashram Dharma. Beyond that. So that's automatically included. And that is what Srila Saraswati Thakur wanted to establish in giving the Brahmin thread to his disciples who were not born in Brahmin families or Kshatriya families or Vaishya families. He established that automatically, because this man is a Vaishnava, automatically he's a Brahmin. Not that, now you've become a Brahmin, that's so great. No, automatically that was, by proper practice of Vaishnava life, automatically that is accomplished. The goal of being a Brahmin is to become a Vaishnava. So by the grace of Mahaprabhu, one can automatically become a Vaishnava, and then everything else is accomplished. But of course one has to be a Vaishnava in his behavior and in his practice and everything. But still, surrender is the essence of all religious practice. That's why Krishna says in Gita, Sarva Dharmam Parityaja. You don't even have to worry about Dharma. Mame kam sharanam. You just surrender to me alone, everything will be done. So he spread kirtan even among the untouchables. He wove a wreath, that means a garland, of the holy name and prema together, with which he garlanded the whole world, indiscriminately. He garlanded the entire world. Emata bhakta bhava karyangikara apani achari bhakti karila prachara. In this way, assuming the sentiment of a devotee, he preached devotional service while practicing it himself. So by the word practice here, it doesn't mean getting good at something. He was the emblem of devotion, being covered by the heart and halo of Radharani. So practicing means performing that, or experience, with the heart of that already. When Rupa Goswami, any questions about that? When Rupa Goswami met Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Prayag, Allahabad, he offered his respectful obeisances by submitting that Lord Chaitanya was more magnanimous than any other avatar of Krishna, because he was distributing love of Krishna. His mission was to enhance love of Godhead. In the human form of life, the highest achievement is to attain the platform of love of Godhead. Lord Chaitanya did not invent a system of religion, as people sometimes assume. Religious systems are meant to show the existence of God, who is then generally approached as the cosmic order supplier. So there was there is some God consciousness, but generally it leads to, I need this, I need that, can you give me that? He's seen as the source of all the things I need. But Mahaprabhu enhanced that understanding. To be my need is to serve him. That is my need. Establish and promote and reveal that truth. But Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental mission is to distribute love of Godhead to everyone. Anyone who accepts God as the Supreme can take to the process of chanting Hare Krishna and become a lover of God. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is the most magnanimous. This munificent broadcasting of devotional service is possible only for Krishna himself. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. This cannot be given except by Krishna and through those great devotees of the Lord. And actually, Srila Guru Maharaj said that, and in a deeper way, that Mahaprabhu is Krishna and Radha combined, and it is Radha who owns Krishna. She is the one who can give him, and all the great Vaishnavas are working under her. This is a deeper understanding. Kintu Prabhorya Priya Eva Tasya. Priya means Radharani. And we cannot meditate on that very easily, but we can meditate on the Lord's greatness and magnanimity. We cannot approach Radha and Krishna except by the service of Nityananda Prabhu, who is bestowing the service of Mahaprabhu, who is bestowing the service of Radha and Krishna. So the safe path is always, always to worship Nitai Gaur, always. Is that clear? Is there any question about this? In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna has taught the philosophy of surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One who has surrendered to the Supreme can make further progress by learning to love Him. Therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement propagated by Lord Chaitanya is especially meant for those who are cognizant, that means who are aware of the presence of the Supreme Godhead, the ultimate controller of everything. And then what will be the result of that? If we really know that Krishna is the controller of everything, if we are cognizant of that, automatically we will surrender to Him under all circumstances. Bhagavad Bhaktita Sarvam Mityachya Vidyarapi. Under all circumstances, he will surrender unto the Lord and try to serve in a very harmonious way His will, which is being manifest at all times. This is a very deeper and deepest process. And it creates harmony in all circumstances. Externally, it may not be harmonious. Internally, it's extremely harmonious. And that is experienced by the surrendered soul. One who is surrendered to the Supreme therefore, the Krishna consciousness movement propagated by Lord Chaitanya is especially meant for those who are cognizant of the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate controller of everything. His mission is to teach people how to dovetail themselves into engagements of transcendental loving service. Dovetail means going into the circumstance, every circumstance, and finding the seva there. The ego will put up such a fuss. But we have to surrender to the Lord in the midst of that opposition from the ego. And He will destroy that layer of ego. Srila Guru Maharaj was saying, if a child is in trouble, what does he do? What does he do? Anybody?
Ask the help of the parents.
Yeah, calls out for help. So when we're in trouble internally or externally or anyway, Basically, it's all internal. And we're calling out. We're calling out in the mood of surrender. My Lord, this circumstance is good for me. Please help me now. I'm in trouble. Call out for the guardian. His mission, Mahaprabhu's mission, is to teach people how to dovetail themselves into engagement of transcendental loving service. Dovetail is a very important word. Going into the circumstance and finding our service there. He is Krishna teaching his own service from the position of a devotee. The Lord's acceptance of the role of a devotee in the eternal form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is another of the Lord's wonderful features. A conditioned soul cannot reach the absolute personality of Godhead by his own imperfect endeavor. We're not going to do it. That very idea that I'm the one who's going to make myself a devotee is the essence of the opposite of surrender. So it's never going to happen. How am I going to do it? We have to try, but all of our endeavors must be imbued with surrender. That is the essence of everything. A conditioned soul cannot reach the absolute personality of Godhead by his imperfect endeavor, and therefore it is wonderful that Lord Sri Krishna in the form of Lord Gauranga has made it easy for everyone to approach him. Swarup Damodar Goswami has described Lord Chaitanya as Krishna himself with the attitude of Radharani, or a combination of Radha and Krishna. The intention of Lord Chaitanya is to taste Krishna's sweetness in transcendental love. He does not care to think of himself as Krishna, because he wants the position of Radharani. We should remember this. He does not care to think of himself as Krishna. Mahaprabhu has never said, that's not his feeling. Because he wants the position of Radharani. That is what he has come to feel. We should remember this. A class of so-called devotees, called the Nadia Nagaris or the Gora Nagaris, pretend that they have the sentiment of a gopi towards Lord Chaitanya. Now, we don't know about these people, but Srila Prabhupada is warning us. Once we step into the world of Krishna consciousness, we may foolishly mistake one thing for another. So he's always giving us warning about these very offensively bogus groups. So they think they're gopis and Mahaprabhu is Krishna. And they're pretending they are having some amorous divine relationship. It is so offensive, it's hard to say it. But Prabhupada is giving us warning. Don't be stupid. Don't go to India or some Sahajiya group that's established itself in whatever country we're in and think, oh yeah, there's a kirtan going on. We don't join with every kirtan. We don't listen to every kirtan. Many kirtan, you get some good drums or something going on. It's all like ecstatic, man. And it may be the sound of complete offense. We don't just join in anything called kirtan, or that's got some offensive chanting of the so-called holy name, which is just the shadow or the reflection of the holy name, not the name proper at all, not even approaching it. So be aware of these things. Don't be sentimental. If you want to get from here to China, you can't just be a sentimentalist and just, can you get me to China? Sure, a couple $1,000, I can get you to China. You got to know how to get there. You can't be indiscriminate. I can't be indiscriminate to go from one side of this room to another. And yet in spiritual life, we can just do any old thing. Don't have to think about it. Oh, I'm just, blissed out, We're going to bliss ourselves right into a hellish position. Anyway, they do not realize that the Lord placed himself not as an enjoyer, Krishna, but as the enjoyed, the devotee of Krishna. Not just to set an example. He is actually worshipping that position, experiencing that, because it is so noble, so great. We've discussed these things so much. But they have no brain, no sukriti, no fortune to understand this at all. They just want what they want and they're just going to get it. And that's that. Presentations such as those of the Gaura-nagaris are only disturbances to the sincere execution of the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is undoubtedly Krishna himself, and he is always non-different. And he is always non-different from Srimati Radharani. But the emotionally, technically called Vipralamba Bhav, which the Lord adopted for confidential reasons, should not be disturbed in the name of service. A mundaner should not unnecessarily intrude into the affairs of transcendence and thereby displease the Lord. Just go to a movie, for heaven's sake. Why stick your nose into something you have no reverence for, no understanding of? Just do something, be honest, just be mundane. Guru Maharaj said, at least be a gentleman. One must always be on guard against this sort of devotional anomaly. But they're chanting, oh, it's so blissful. Come on. A devotee is not meant to create disturbances to Krishna. As Srila Rupa Goswami has explained, devotional service is anukulyena, or it is favorable to Krishna. Acting unfavorably toward Krishna is not devotion. See all the pains that Srila Prabhupada took to explain these things to us. It's just inconceivable. It's divine. It's an absolute. It's an inconceivable thing. That Srila Prabhupada is discussing these things. This is the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrta. I'm like, okay. And we're able to hear such purity of teaching. Astonishing. Acting unfavorably toward Krishna is not devotion. Kamsa was the enemy of Krishna. He always thought of Krishna, but he thought of him as an enemy. One should always avoid such unfavorable so-called service. It's indirect. In other words, it enhanced the Lord's pastimes in some way, but it's not. That didn't help Kamsa any. Krishna can utilize anyone for his purpose, but if one is a demon and against the actual position of pure devotion, he's not going to get the benefit at all. Lord Chaitanya has accepted the role of Radharani, and we should support that position as Sri Swarup Damodar did in the Gambhira, the room where Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stayed in Puri. He always reminded Lord Chaitanya of Radha's feelings of separation as they are described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and Lord Chaitanya appreciated his assistance. But the Gaura Nagaris who place Lord Chaitanya in the position of an enjoyer and themselves as his enjoyed are not approved by Lord Chaitanya or by Lord Chaitanya's followers. Instead of being blessed, the foolish imitators are left completely apart. Their concoctions are against the principles of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The doctrine of transcendental enjoyment by Krishna cannot be mixed up with the doctrine of transcendental feeling of separation from Krishna in the role of Radharani. All right.
Didi, I have a question.
Oh, wow, I went so far over. I didn't realize that. Yeah.
So, speaking about Kamsa, who thought of Krishna as an enemy, what does it mean to be an enemy of Krishna? Does it mean to be against his will? So does that mean that we are also enemies of Krishna when we are not okay with his will and we quarrel with the environment?
No, that's all a question of intention. Of course, we are still very much conditioned. But that's not our intention. We don't want that. When a person fully embraces that, then that's a different story altogether.
That's kind of like a demon, like Kamsa position.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not correct to say that or a misconception is encased in the pastimes of the Lord.
Sorry?
So is it correct to say or to think that our misconception or attachment to sense, to the object of the senses, and lack of responsibility, is that enhancing the pastimes of the Lord?
I mean...
Because yesterday we were reading about like the field and the modes of nature, how we're like in a wave.
Yeah. I mean, Krishna says everyone serves my path in all respects. But how that is all going on in his vision, that's impossible for us to think. But, for example, if someone is coming up against the mission of Mahaprabhu, there is something being served there. It will enhance so many things about in the devotee. And many, many things can happen. But that is not the intention of that person. So Krishna knows. Krishna, everyone, he's the absolute reality. There's nothing outside of his will, in a sense. But the living being has a tiny free will, which makes him part and parcel of the Lord. Means he's simultaneously one and different. So we have that free will. And that's the whole problem. We have free will. And we can decide how to be. And when we are in deep ignorance, that is also not an accident. That is our own doing. Like a person may take a lot of drugs, and then they find themselves in this horrifying shadow world of bewilderment and helplessness, right? But you can't just take that out of context. That all started with free will. So even when one is in a situation where they're so ignorant and they're doing so much wrong, you think, well, they can't help it. They were just born like that. No, our birth is not accidental. But Mahaprabhu can extend his mercy anywhere. But there has to be some sukriti. So we are also trying to distribute sukriti by Harinam Sankirtan, by distribution of prasadam chiefly, by giving some connection in any way to the service of our Gurudev. That distributes sukriti. And then the consciousness is cleared by that. So that, again, that is Gyata Sukriti, then Shraddha, Sadhu Sangha, and all these things can develop. So the sadhu, or the representative or servant of the sadhu, can really change the direction of the consciousness of the people by distribution of sukriti, meaning the connection of the great souls. Is that clear?
Yeah, thank you. So the free will is super important.
Without free will, there's no consciousness at all. If you're just a robot, then you're not conscious. If you have no free will, then you're not even a person. So the Lord is, we have the freedom to choose, but we have the freedom to change our mind also.
And does that can it happen like this, or is it gradual?
It's
When there is like different voices, one that wants to align your thoughts and actions with the ideal, and that's what you need.
yeah.
And there's the addictions that are bewildering you.
Yeah.
Does it happen immediately, that change when you choose like the higher ideal?
Well,
Or
it's
is it
not
with
just
time?
our choosing, but we must surrender. The choosing of the higher thing must involve surrender. Because He's the one who's going to give us all the facility, all the relief, all the knowledge, all the change in our hearts. This is coming through surrender. Guru Maharaj said you can try through Vidhi Bhakti for thousands and thousands of lifetimes. What can be accomplished by surrender so quickly? Because the Lord is there. So just let me help you. I'm not forcing you. But if you want me to, I can remove all this from you. I can take it away. Aham, tvam, sarva, all, papebhyo, all tendency for sinfulness, moksha, I can free that. I can free you of all of that. Just surrender to me. Mashuja, don't worry. I can do that. But it's your choice. What am I going to do to defeat Maya? Maya? Krishna is saying in Gita again, this Daivi Heshu Gunamai, the mistress of all these gunas, of all these modes of material nature, she's mine. You're not going to overcome this. She's so powerful, you can't overcome Maya. But if you surrender to me, easily she will step aside. She'll be so happy with you. Oh, my child, you are so good. She'll be so happy. She's just doing her job. She's giving us an alternative to love of God, but she doesn't want you to choose that. But we don't want to surrender. So what's the real problem? I don't want to surrender. So how am I going to overcome that? By surrender. My Lord, you see me, I don't want to surrender to you. I want to solve this problem on my own. I see all these enemies around me. I got to fix this. I got to take care of this problem. All this stuff. But I don't want to surrender to you. So what am I going to get? Moksha. Non-differentiated Nirvishesh Brahma at the most. I'll analyze all this and I'll get myself out of this. Then what? No Krishna, no divine plane, just nothing. Nirvishesh, Nirgun, Nirvishesh Brahma. At the most. And most who are trying to do that will not be successful. It's too hard. So you can get a passport from your country to leave the country. But to enter another country, you have to get a visa from that country. And the visa to enter to the divine plane, that is surrender. Devotion. Through surrender, devotion will automatically happen. But even that is gradual, because it's a battle to surrender. The ego just doesn't like that idea. So where's my problem? In the ego. That's the only problem. Because wait a minute, then I'm going to be a servant? I thought I was the master. Even though we know, come on, how many times we've gotten kicked and we still don't recognize that I'm not the master. And who wants to be the master when the Lord himself wants to taste what devotion is? It's so high of a thing. So we have to get a taste for that. And we have only one way, and that's through surrender and service. We will get a taste for what is beautiful. Now we like eating garbage out of the garbage pail. We can't be enticed to take Mahaprasadam. We have it, like someone will say, come and, they'll come and do something, but they won't eat here, for example. They have a taste for their own food. But that's just, and I'm saying that as a metaphor. We have a taste for what we think is so enjoyable, but it's really painful. It's only addiction, and it whips us like a whip with 9 heads. It's very painful to live in the material world. But you go, like Sudha was saying last night, you go to some guy who's sitting in full addiction, heroin addiction or whatever addiction. You say, man, let's get you out of this situation. You're like, get out of here. Why are you bothering me? He's thinking he's having such a nice life. But those who have not that particular addiction will go, oh, how can he stand it? So it's developing a higher taste. A taste for purity. A taste for honesty. A taste for lack of hypocrisy. No ulterior motive. Actually being real. Actually being devoted. We're all pretending to be devoted, but it's full hypocrisy. It's all hypocrisy in this world. There's nothing real about it. So we need to keep hearing and develop a taste for what is really sweet, for what is really beautiful and truthful. And having gotten that taste, we will never come back to this plane. There's a story, well, anyway, it's the time for, it's over. But the time is up. But, you know, it's so relative, the taste of this world. But one who has really felt even the touch of the taste of the sweetness of real devotion, then this world is automatically solved. He doesn't have to do anything else to overcome the modes of material nature. He doesn't have to do anything about it. Krishna is saying, I am the, what's that last verse? I am the immortal nectar. Nectar. Don't worry about these modes of nature. That's nothing to me. It's not even it belongs to me. Oh, right. I was listening to a class. This class, by the way, this video on YouTube called The Cause of Fear. It's a video on YouTube. Srila Guru Maharaj. I've listened to it several times, but the last time I listened to it, it really, really it made an impression, very strong impression on me. This talk is very beautiful. I highly recommend it. It's called The Cause of Fear.
The Cause of Fear by
Maybe The Real Cause of Fear, or something like that. But it's by Srila Guru Maharaj. And it has it's transcribed with the subtitles. But in one part he's saying, go to me, this is my Maya. It's my Maya. Why do you want to go fight with Maya? Guru Maharaj said, you don't have to fight with Maya. You simply have to find your guardian. If a dog is coming to attack you, and you're some child, you don't know what to do with that dog. But you call out for your guardian, he can take care of that dog, there's no problem. So our only difficulty is that we want to have Krishna without Krishna. We want to practice Krishna consciousness and leave Krishna out of it. We don't want to surrender. So that's why Srila Prabhupada said, anyone who has become, what was that word he used? Become, very nice expression. One who has become aware, anyway, of Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What's the word? Anyways, I can't find it right now. Okay. Anyway, I can't remember what it is. Maybe somebody else will remember. But anyway, then automatically he must approach him through surrender and dovetail all of himself in the service of the Lord through surrender. Jai Shri Guru Chandraju ki Jai, Jai Giriraju ki Jai. All right, Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrta ki Jai, Shri Krishna Das Kaviraj ki Jai, Srila Om Vishnupade Si Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha.
Gopal Govinda Ram Srimati Sudana.
Gopal Govinda Ram Srimati Sudana.
Giridhari Gopinath Madanamo.
Giridhari Gopinath Madanamokana.
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra.
Radha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Radha Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhakta Raghunath.
Jai Rupa Sanatana Bhakta Raghunnatha.
Shri Jiva Gopala Bhakta Das Raghunath.
Jiva Gopala Bhakta Dasa Raghunatha.
Hey Jai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana.
Jai Gosai Kori Charana Vandana.
Jai Te Vignanas Avistapura.
Ute Vinnana Shavishta Purana.
Hey Jai Gosai Jamui Tarada.
Jai Gosai Jaramui Tarada.
Dasavara Pararenu Mor Panchabra.
Dasvara Parenu Mora Panchalasa.
Dandara Charana Sevi Bhakta Saniva.
Charana Sevi Bhakta Saneva
Janame janame more abhila.
Janame Janame Morai Abhilasha
Hey Chai Gosai Jabe Bhaje Koilava.
Jagosai Jabe Braje Koilavasa
Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakash.
Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korila Prakasa
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan.
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavana
Shri Guru Vaishnava Paramajayama.
Guru Vaishnava Parimargai Jamana
Shri Guru Vaishnava Parapadma Koriya.
Guru Vaishnava Padma Koriya
Hari Nam Sankirtan Kohe Narottamada.
Hari Nama Sankirtana Kohe Narottamada
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Hare Rama 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 Hare
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol.
Jai Saparikar Shri Guru Gaurachandra Giraju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaja Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Srila Bhakti Rakha Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Tadiya Shaka Mat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Nittai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol Jai. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai.
We appreciate the association of Bhima Krishna Prabhu,
Dandavat.
of you, and Kalyani Didi.
Sorry?
Kalyani Didi.
Kalyani?
Yes,
Kalyani. Dandavat. Hari Bol. Thank you for joining us. Very happy to hear.
Dandavat.